So there's this place in Canada with some of the bluest waters, the best mountain peaks, and absolutely the most scenic drives.
When I saw you in the morning light, I just held my place, and it goes with a little time.
My friends and I have always wanted to visit the Canadian Rockies, and after multiple delays, we were finally able to make that trip happen. This video will show our 7-day adventure into Banff, Jasper, and Yoho National Park.
Was it target worth the vanity? Was it worth the sacrifice?
Ladies and gentlemen, in preparation for departure, please check to see that your seatbelts are securely fastened.
We arrived in Canada late afternoon, so we spent the first portion of our day shopping and exploring downtown Calgary. We walked around Stephen Avenue and visited some of the local shops. Before heading to our Airbnb in Canmore, we made our way to the Real Canadian Superstore to stock up on food and supplies for the week. Unfortunately, we were super unprepared and spent much more time there than necessary. Alright, finished grocery shopping. Terrible experience.
It's great.
We started day 2 with a stroll along the Bow River Trail, which is located right outside the main strip of downtown Canmore. The trail is well paved and it stretches along the Bow River, so it makes it a great way to explore the valley. Now, if you visit in mid-May to early June, you most likely run into elk like we did. If you do run into them, just remember to always keep a safe distance, as they're known to be aggressive. After the Bow River Trail, we made our way back to Calgary to pick up our friends from the airport. Instead of heading straight back to Canmore, we decided to visit Calgary's Central Library. I cannot recommend this place enough, especially if you're a fan of architecture or a cool-looking building. If you are ever in the area, definitely go for a visit. Was this worth waking up 3 o'clock in the morning for?
Yeah, it's good for the eyes, but not for the gram.
Our goal for the day was to hike the Lake Agnes Trail up to the tea house. We wanted to beat the crowd, so we started very early in the morning. And after roughly 1.5 hours of hiking, we reached Mirror Lake. Mirror Lake is a small lake located half mile before the tea house. We get to see an amazing view of the beehive, and it makes for the perfect rest stop before heading up to Lake Agnes.
Let's go. Watch out!
Oh, you watch out.
Continuing the path, we were eventually greeted with the most amazing reward, the tea house. They sell tea, snack bars, hot soup, and sometimes even hot chocolate. We took the opportunity to eat and rest up before hiking back down. The trail does continue past Lake Agnes to the Big Beehive, but majority of the path were completely covered in snow, so my friends and I did not partake. Regardless, the trail was still absolutely amazing. I highly recommend checking it out if you are ever visiting Banff. We stopped by Mooring Lake on our way back. Mooring Lake sits in the valley of the 10 Peaks, so its blue glacial lake is situated next to some of the most beautiful snow-capped mountains. It is one of the most photographed lakes in the world, so it's definitely a must-see. Day 4 of our journey took us to Lake Minnewanka. It is a popular glacial lake located right outside the town of Banff. They have covered boat tours, as well as kayak, canoe, and even motorboat rentals. It was a bit chilly the day we went, so my friends and I did not participate in any water activity. However, we did hike the enormous walking trail surrounding the outskirts of the lake. After Minnewanka, we did visit Emerald Lake, but the rain was coming down quite hard, so we did not stay for long. Instead, we went straight to our third itinerary item, which was visiting the town of Banff. Banff is small and quaint, with a very vibrant downtown, filled with many restaurants, bars, and shops. The next morning, we went to Johnson Canyon. It is one of the more popular destinations in Banff, so if you want to see the deep mountain canyons and the large waterfalls, I recommend getting there early. Later that evening, we returned to Lake Louise to eat dinner at the Fairmont Chateau Hotel. With the unpredictable mountain weather, we were fortunate to be greeted with blue skies and a perfect view of the lake. The rain had just stopped when we arrived, so we had the entire lake to ourselves. Of course, we took full advantage of the opportunity and took plenty of pictures before ending our night with an amazing meal. On day 6, we hit the road on the Icefield Parkway towards Jasper. If you do the Icefield straight through, you can probably reach Jasper from Banff in about 3.5 to 4 hours. But my friends and I took about 8. The Icefield Parkway is one of the most beautiful and scenic drives in the world. There are endless photo opportunities, and if we were to stop at every single one, we would probably still be on the Icefield today. Our first stop along the way was Pedal Lake. The viewpoint is only a short hike from the parking lot, but I do recommend getting there early if you can, as Pedal Lake is one of the more popular stops, so it tends to get very crowded very early. Our second stop was at the Columbia Icefield Skywalk. It is a cliff edge walkway that leads to a glass floor platform overlooking the Sonwatha Valley. Our final stop was at the Basket Falls. At the falls, you will find the river tumbling over a ledge with such immense force and volume that it creates one of the most powerful waterfalls in the Canadian Rockies. There are several viewpoints. All are very easily reachable via a short walk from the parking lot. It is also located just 30 minutes south of Jasper, making it the perfect final pit stop. So day 7 was our last and final day in the Canadian Rockies. Since we only had one full day in Jasper, we decided to visit Moline Lake in the morning. The lake was partially frozen, but it was still worth the visit. We heard from the locals that Jasper has an abundance of wildlife, so our goal for the afternoon was to go out and search for them. Just from driving around, we were able to see a moose, bighorn sheep, and plenty of white-tailed deer. But our favorite definitely had to be a mama bear and her cub eating on the side of the road. Honestly, if we could do this trip all over again, and if we had the same exact timeline, we would probably spend more time exploring Jasper and seeing all it has to offer. Overall, it was still a super fun trip spent with amazing people.
Sometimes I see the journey back red. Sometimes I wanna go
Tree hair.
with the light from my memory. Let the truth be known.